Hi, my name is Andrea Neal. For those who do not know me, I am a college readiness coach. I have been doing college readiness for about 10 years, and I have worked within higher education for about 6 or so years. I've worked at a historically black college university. I currently work at a private liberal arts undergraduate college. I've worked at an academic healthcare center. I have worked at a faith-based institution, and I have reviewed scholarship essays for several organizations and companies. Just to give you a little background for those who do not know who I am. For those who know me, thank you so much. Thank you for waiting for me to put out another video. I know it's been a while, so I appreciate your patience. Today's video is going to be on how to write a letter of recommendation. So over the last couple of years, I have people reach out to me and say, "Hey, this someone I know, someone in my church, one of my athletes, if it's a organization or sport that's not affiliated with a school or club not affiliated with a school, has reached out to me and asked me to write a letter of recommendation, and I don't know what to include in the information." So it's always two things that I tell them to get from the person that's making the request. For the sake of this video, we're going to call them an applicant. So you want to get two things from the applicant. You want to get a copy of the part of the essay that says letter of recommendation. Now, I'm going to be very transparent. Sometimes it just says get a letter of recommendation, but it may have some criteria within the application. It may say a person has to know you for a certain amount of times. This is who it cannot be. This is who it can be. It has to be in a sealed envelope. It has to be delivered separately, etc. So there's going to be some key information that may be present in the application. That's why you want to get a copy of it. The second thing is have the applicant give you a list of activities, organizations, community service activities that they've been a part of. Now, I'm going to talk about what you're going to do with that information in a few moments, but it doesn't have to be a fancy list or anything like that. I remember one time I was in 11th or 12th grade and someone said, "Send me your resume." Okay, I'm in 11th, 12th grade. I had some retail jobs. I didn't even know how to do a resume, let alone the time it would have taken me to figure out how to do a resume, format it correctly, and then send it to them. The amount of effort putting it in that format could have easily just been a list of things I have done, places I've worked, etc. And that's something that they can shoot you in an email or a text. Again, it doesn't have to be a fancy list. Dates will be very helpful, um, especially if you've known this person for several years. I know that just the people the kids that I'm involved in, some of these I've been knowing since they've been like 4 or 5. So I've gone to a science fair or I've gone to 10 science fairs and I'm thinking they played with atoms in 6th grade. In reality, they played with atoms in ninth grade. And so it kind of just helps me with a timeline to make sure that I'm not giving information that may contradict something that's put in the essay that they submit or part of the package that they submit. So that would be good if they can put dates. Again, not a requirement. It's just something that's very helpful. It could be something again that's on a Word document, an Excel document, a text message, a body of email, just to help you write the letter of recommendation. Um, some of the things that stand out to me is when I see letters of recommendation for the essays that I reviewed or someone has shared to me, it's typically how the applicant has inspired the person writing the letter or something that the applicant has taught the person writing the letter. And you're going to tell me, usually you're going to tell the reader the activities that they participated in without just saying, "Hey, this person was a soccer player, this person was president of the chess club, this person," because you don't want to do that. Like, again, they're most likely going to tell me that in the essay if I'm reviewing their packet. So how you would say that is, "I've known Keisha for about 5 years. It amazes me how she continuously is on the honor roll and she participates in golf club. chess club, and she's the treasurer of the Student Government Association. One time I was sitting down talking to her, and I asked, how do you balance all of your activities, all of your responsibilities, and still make the honor roll? And she told me that she uses a planner and she doesn't make any decisions or book any appointments without first consulting her planner. I then took that knowledge and it has helped me become a better organized person, right? That's just an example. I have never seen it on an application, but just an example for you. You've told me the activities that she participated in without, again, just giving me a generic list. You told me something, you let me know that you had real human contact with this person. You told me that you've learned something, that you've benefited from knowing who this applicant is. Something else that has stood out. This is an actual example of something I've read. I don't know the person's name, but um, Sean. Sean was a basketball player. He sustained an injury. He still went to every practice and encouraged his teammates during the games where he was still injured. He went and got the crowd excited about his team and led the spirit cheers, etc. And I admired how he was dedicated to his team, even though he wasn't able to directly participate, even though he wasn't in the newspaper for how many uh, I can't remember what position he played, but how many guards he had or how many points he got for that game. Again, you've given me a very human personality, character, insight into who the applicant is. Um, this is also an example, don't know the person's name, but um, Marcus. Marcus had a community service project where he went out and provided hygiene products for the homeless. And it really motivated me. I learned how about our local homeless population in the city. I didn't realize how many people were homeless, some of the issues that are related to being homeless, resources that are not available, why people choose not to select those resources through having conversations with Marcus. I decided that I wanted to get out and learn more about my community, and I started even if it's not a home, like you started working with the homeless, it could motivate you to do something else that's of interest to you. Work with teenage moms, work with the domestic violence shelter, etc. So that type of information again helps the person reading your letter of recommendation get some character insight, some human insight into the person that's applying for X number of dollars, X opportunity. And again, it helps them to stand out amongst a whole list of applicants. Well, you want to say a whole list of applicants. I had one that I reviewed for, and only two people applied. We end up giving them the two people the scholarship. But generally, in most situations, it is a pool of people, especially when it's a high dollar scholarship amount. It's thousands of applicants who apply for those type of scholarships. So it helps them stand out more. I really don't remember. I try to be very fair. I create a rubric if one is not available to where I can score applications. And I make sure that my colleagues are adhering to the rubric just so we can be fair. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't remember applicants, and I typically just score applicants lower when it's just a letter of recommendation that just generically tells me the activities that they're involved in. If it doesn't tell me anything person personal about the applicant, they get graded low because okay, it's just you regurgitating information. You just listing some things that they've done, and there's going to be hundreds of other applicants who are doing the same, are better than what you put down for that person. Again, you want to list something that's inspirational, something that they've taught you, something that aha about this person, and or an experience you had with them. There's one young lady who literally almost every time I talk to her, I learn something or I get a different perspective on life. Every time I talk to her, or most times I talk to her, I realize I need to just be grateful, or I'm not aware of how, for lack of a better word, blessed I am in a certain area. And not to say how many things I take for granted, and not like a roof over my head, but like sometimes just, hey, you're, for those who don't know, I run. I'm a runner. And so I may feel like my time that day is too long, or I'm not making improvements. And she's like, most people don't get out and run 3 or 4 miles. Most people don't run 2 or 3 times a week, right? And so don't get me wrong, she's told me some deeper things. That's just the first thing that comes to my mind. But how she just helps me get a different perspective on things that I'm doing. And it may be something that's that simple, but she contributes to my growth, my development, me being grateful, etc. And that's something that amongst, a list of things that I can put in that she's taught me. And so don't want to go too long. This is already like over 10 minutes. But those are some of the things that you can list on a letter of recommendation. Some people ask me, should I list how long I've known the person? Yes, but don't just say I've known this person for 5 years. You want to say in the span of 5 years, I've really seen growth and development from a person. They went from someone who was selfish and self-centered to someone who is giving or balanced or something like that. It's okay to say someone may not have started out in a favorable light, but this is where they are now, and I've seen them develop over the course of 5 years. Um, have I've seen, or they were an indifferent person and they now have became a leader, even if they're not always on the front line. They lead from behind or something like that. So that's good, and give examples of that. Those are good examples of things to put in a letter of recommendation. So I hope that the 2 or 3 points that I gave you were beneficial. If you have any questions, concerns, if you feel like I left something out, you're more than welcome to email me at AndreaNeal516@gmail.com. That's AndreaNeal 516@gmail.com. Thank you for your time.